I'm going to give you a little advice today that you're going to want to hear and share with anybody you know who is either selling their home or thinking about selling their home. And that is the 3 secrets that sellers need to know to sell their home right now. Let's go. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's Brian Simmons here with eXp Realty. It is July 13th. And I would like to remind you real quick to just subscribe, like, and share this channel, this video on your social media with your family and friends so they can get all this great information as well. Let's go ahead and dive right into the data, and we'll take a look at what the market has been doing over the last week. So looking at the market right now this morning, there are 1,244 active single-family residential listings between Jackson and Josephine counties, okay? In the last 7 days, we saw 144 new listings hit the market, 180 price changes, which is pretty high. 45 listings came back on the market, 114 went pending, 99 closed, and 42 were either expired, withdrawn, or canceled, going off the market for some reason other than selling. That brings us to 12 and a half weeks of inventory if we were to look at just a snapshot of that 1 week, so it's about 3 months. So this is the point last year where things started to kind of start to slow down a little bit, okay? We had 167 new listings this week last year, okay? And it quickly went down into the 150s and then the 140s and then the 120s. Had a little bit of a spike in September, and then we dropped down into the hundreds or below, going into the end of the year and really until the end of January, okay? And so I think we'll probably see something similar this year because it tends to happen every year. It's a cyclical industry. So I would expect that to happen. Closings and pendings last year, though, did stay pretty stable throughout the remainder of the year. So that's what's going to be interesting to see if that happens again. We're definitely behind the ball on pendings and closings, looking, this part of this year versus this part of last year. We're probably 10 or so percent behind where we were last year, looking at like the weekly data, which isn't a huge deal if we stay consistent with that level of activity like we did last year, nice and consistent. We don't have a drop off. So if we have that consistency in activity and we do have a slowing of new listings coming up that we anticipate, that should lead to the inventory number kind of starting to drop off a little bit. So it should stabilize, should peak, and then should come back down as we get into the fall. Which is basically what happens every single year. So I do think that's going to happen, but we will have to stick around and find out. But let's talk about what you really want to hear, and that is the 3 secrets that sellers need to know right now to sell their home in this crazy new market. So let's dive right into that. Number 1, homes that are in great shape get great results. What a concept. When a buyer walks into your house and if they see carpet that's stained up, needs to be restretched or replaced, that's not good. That's not a good first impression. If they see trim that needs to be redone, your dog's eating up your door, whatever the case is, that type of stuff, take care of that, okay? You don't want somebody walking into your home thinking, oh, there's a project, there's a project, there's a project. You want them walking in thinking like, wow, this place is really well taken care of. And that gives them a good impression that what they see, in reality by walking through your house is going to carry over into what the inspection report shows. So a home that's well taken care of cosmetically is also probably well taken care of in terms of maintenance and all that stuff. That's kind of the what tends to go through buyers' minds in my experience. So that's number 1. Keep your house in great shape. If it's not in great shape, get it in great shape. Take care of those simple things that need to be done so that when a buyer walks in, they're not thinking that they need to do all these sorts of projects. Okay. Number 2, price it to sell. Okay. Don't go dreaming up some make me move price and roll with it. Okay. That may have been okay last year. That was fine. It's not going to be okay this year. You're not going to like the results that you get. Okay. That's why we're seeing a lot of these price changes. All right. That's still happening a little bit. There's still some sellers who are like, you know what? I just want to try it. Let's just see what happens. And then they hear crickets. Okay. Nothing happens. And that's not good. All right. So make sure that you do price to sell. Work with an agent who knows how to actually give you a real good number based on comps, not based on something that's dreamt up, not based on what Zillow says, based on actual real data of what has sold, comparably to your home. Okay, that's what you want to do, and you want to make sure you're really, really priced to sell. So when you have number one and number two, right? Okay, it's looking good and you got it priced to sell. Those homes, in my experience, are still getting a ton of activity. Okay, they're still getting, in a lot of cases, multiple offers and still getting even bid up over their asking price. Okay, so don't let anybody tell you that that's not happening in this market, because I can tell you firsthand it is. Number three, pictures and marketing are absolutely critical. If your agent's walking around snapping pictures with their iPhone and planning to use those as your listing pictures, that should be a bad sign, okay? If their strategy is simply to list it to the MLS and just wait for people to start calling and coming to tour it, that should be another bad sign, okay? You need to work with somebody who has a game plan for you, who is going to get professional pictures, who's going to get a lot of eyes on your listing, okay? Simply snapping some iPhone pics and throwing it in the MLS is not good enough, okay? It shouldn't be good enough for you. It's not good enough for me. And I'm going to tell you, if you want to sell your house in this market, you got to do better than that, all right? And so that looks like maybe drone pictures, maybe twilight pictures, definitely professional pictures, maybe staging. Those things need to be discussed, okay, and planned. Getting the pictures right is important, but getting those pictures in front of eyes is even more important, okay? And so let's use my listing that I just had go live last week, 3437 Rogue River Highway, which is beautiful, by the way. If you haven't seen it, Google it. Or better yet, look at my newsletter report, the actual written one, and it's in there. You can check it out. It's sweet. So anyways, that alone in a week has been seen by thousands and thousands of people, okay? Just on Facebook alone, the posts, I've done a couple posts about it. Those posts alone have been seen by well over 3,000 people. Okay, that's in addition to the people that see it on Zillow or Realtor.com or any of those other sites. That's in addition to the people that see it on my own website. That's in addition to the people that see it through the MLS, whose agent sends it to them. All those sorts of things. So it's getting seen by thousands and thousands of people right out of the gate because we had a good strategy. Okay, if I would just put it on the MLS, it's just gonna, maybe people see it, maybe they don't, whatever. But getting it actually active out there with a good strategy of marketing is absolutely critical, okay? And the result has been good. We've had a nice steady stream of showings, okay? So I really, really suggest you work with an agent who knows how to drive traffic to your listings and they know how to market their listings appropriately. And if you need a good recommendation for an agent who knows that stuff, I do know a guy who knows this stuff pretty well. Okay, so just let me know and I'll connect you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this channel with your friends, and check out the full version of the newsletter because there are a lot of great listings in there and some buyer needs that I have that maybe you can help me out with. Have a great one. See you next week.